What is up, everybody? You're checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity Ant C, and we are jumping into our time machine for the Attitude Years recap, covering WWE Raw is War from November 23rd, 1998, live in Columbus, Ohio. And we start off Raw with the new Raws War opening. It's the one that I'm familiar with growing up with. If you just type in YouTube Raw November 23rd, 98 opening, you'll see the intro. It's the one where it's very famous and I enjoyed it. After the intro, we see Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and the Stooges coming out. Vince says, "For anyone who thinks I had anything to do with the attack last week, it is not true. I don't lie. When I guarantee something, you can take it to the bank." Sergeant Slaughter has stepped aside. This new commissioner will have control over everyone except Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold is mine. The new commissioner, please welcome the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And then Shawn Michaels comes out. Shawn says there's a new sheriff in town. Ben says, "Man or Mr. Vinman, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity." This is what Shawn says. "As a token of my appreciation, things will never be the same again. In an effort to add a bit more sizzle to tonight's steak, I'd like to book my first match for the WWE title. The Rock will defend it against X-Pac. Hit my music." And with that, Shawn Michaels is the new commissioner for WWE, making his first match. We see the Insane Clown Posse asking the Oddities to fight for them tonight. And we have the Headbangers versus the Oddities with Luna and the Insane Clown Posse by their side. The end comes after Goldust gets distracted and Mosh rolls him up. After the posse attacks the Oddities with spray cans, and the Headbangers cut Luna's hair and say they are going to do things the Headbangers way. So poor Luna Vachon gets her hair cut. The Insane Clown Posse screws over the Oddities. Interesting stuff here on Raw. Next, we have Steve Blackman defeating the Blue Blazer after a huge kick. However, after the match, Owen Hart chop blocks Steve Blackman, and the Blue Blazer and Owen Hart run off together. So it looks as if um, Owen Hart was not in the Blue Blazer suit tonight to fight Steve Blackman. Owen getting revenge on Steve. In San Jose, California, we see that Stone Cold Steve Austin got dizzy and blacked out during a match. Shawn Michaels talks to Vince McMahon backstage. Next, we have Gangrel and Edge representing the Brood with Christian taking on Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown. A lot of back and forth action here between these teams, but the end comes after Chyna comes on stage, distracting Mark Henry, and Gangrel rolls up Henry to get a 3-count victory for the Brood. Chyna tells Mark Henry she'll go on a date with him, and Henry jumps for joy. Interesting stuff. Stone Cold Steve Austin's in the hospital. The doctor tells Stone Cold he needs to take a couple of weeks off, but to get a good night's sleep, and he'll be gone in the morning. Stone Cold says, "I'm going to get my payback. Undertaker and Paul Bearer are going to have hell to pay." The JVC Kaboom of the Week is Undertaker hitting Stone Cold with a shovel last week. We see Shawn Michaels talking to DX. Next, we have Marc Mero taking on Goldust. During the match, Terri Runnels and Jacqueline both come out, and Jacqueline low blows Goldust, and Terri nails a Shattered Dreams to Marc Mero, and this is a no contest with Jacqueline and Terri Runnels getting revenge on their former men, Goldust and Marc Mero. Stone Cold Steve Austin is in the hospital, and he says, "When I get my hands on Paul Bearer and the Undertaker, they got hell to pay." The lights go off, and then we see a hearse arriving at a hospital. We have the Hardcore Championship on the line. The Intercontinental Champion Ken Shamrock taking on the Big Boss Man and the Hardcore Champion Mankind in a triple threat match. Great action between all three of these men. The end comes when Ken Shamrock nails a belly-to-belly to Mankind on the chair, but the Job Squad come out, and Al Snow hits Ken Shamrock with head, and Mankind gets the win, and he retains the title. After Ken Shamrock attacks Mankind on the ramp and sends him into the Titantron, we then see the Undertaker and Paul Bearer arrive at a hospital, and the Undertaker chokes Undertaker after putting him a towel over his face. Undertaker tells Austin, "This is your last ride, brother," and we see Taker drag Stone Cold into a hearse, and he leaves. Some evil stuff here. Next, we have the Light Heavyweight Championship on the line. The champion Christian with the Brood defending against Duane Gil. The end comes when Christian hits an unprettier but Scorpio and the Job Squad attack the Brood, and Scorpio hits a 450 onto Christian. Gil gets the 3 count, and the new light heavyweight champion is Duane Gil. We then see the Undertaker and Paul Bearer arrive at a cemetery, and there's an open grave, and Undertaker puts Austin on the ground. Undertaker digs the grave. Paul Bearer says, "You crossed the line." Austin attacks Paul Bearer, but Undertaker chokes him and puts the cloth back over his face. Undertaker says, "Stone Cold Steve Austin, burying you alive is too good for you. We're gonna embalm him alive. You're gonna feel the wrath." So they're not gonna bury him, they're gonna embalm the Undertaker. Next, we have the Godfather with the Hose taking on Tiger Ali Singh with Babu. We find out Rock Bottom in Your House, presented by Glover, will be on December 13th, 1998. Goldust says, "You got a choice of fighting me and I will kick your ass, or feast your eyes on these Buckeyes. You can have any one of these fine hoes for a small fee, and you got them for the whole night." Steven Regal comes out. Regal says, "I was screwed royally. Don't trust him. I know I'm a normal wrestling Regal's man. That's when Steve Regal and Tiger Ali Singh attack the Godfather, but Val Venus makes the save, and the referee separates the two teams, and then Godfather and Val walk off with the hose. We have a tag team title match. The champions New Age Outlaws taking on the Job Squad with Al Snow and the new lightweight champion Duane Gil. The end comes, well, actually, the title's more on the line here. The end comes when Billy Gunn hits a tornado DDT to Scorpio, but Mankind runs down and hits Billy Gunn with a leaf blower, and Scorpio gets a 3 count. After the New Age Outlaws, Big Boss Man Ken Shamrock attack Mankind and the Job Squad, and then Ken Shamrock attacks the Job Squad with the leaf blower. We see the Undertaker and Paul Bearer then arrive at a funeral home. Undertaker carries Stone Cold Steve Austin into the home, and they place Austin onto the slab. Paul Bearer gets the knives out, and Undertaker says, "Stone Cold Steve Austin, you can tempt fate, but you can't disturb the ministry. This is what you get when you cross into the realm of darkness with no escape." Paul Bearer then take Austin's shirt. Undertaker says, "What you're about to experience is going to be the worst pain and horror that you can endure. When one understands death, they become immortal." Undertaker then starts to speak in tongues. He has a knife, but Kane attacks Undertaker from behind. Stone Cold Steve Austin blocks Paul's scissors, and Austin runs off, and the feet's cut. Some crazy shit happening here on Raw. Next, we have the WWE title on line. The champion The Rock with Ken Shamrock and Big Boss Man taking on the European champion X-Pac with the New Age Outlaws. Shawn Michaels kicks out the New Age Outlaws and the Big Boss Man Ken Shamrock from ringside. A lot of great back and forth action here. The Rock grabs a chair, but then Shawn Michaels grabs it from The Rock and nails X-Pac in the face with the chair. The Rock hits a corporate elbow, and Shawn Michaels has joined the corporate team here. It looks like after the match, Shawn Michaels runs off as the New Age Outlaws run down. Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock attack the Road Dogg with a nightstick, and Shawn Michaels betraying everybody here on Raw's War. We are a couple weeks away from In Your House Rock Bottom. Some great action. With that, stay safe and stay uncensored.